Let us see something about TDMA, that is time division multiple access. A more flexible multiplexing scheme for the typical mobile communication is the time division multiplexing, that is TDM. Compared to the frequency division multiple access FDMA, the time division multiple access TDMA offers a much more flexible scheme which comprises all the technologies that allocate certain time slots for the communication. Now, the synchronization between the sender and the receiver has to be achieved in the time domain. Again, this can be done by using a fixed pattern similar to the frequency division multiple access techniques, that is, it allots a certain amount of time slot for a channel, or by using a dynamic allocation scheme. So, this is a diagram which is assigned for the TDMA. So, the channels are assigned according to the time slots. Now, let us see what is fixed TDM. The simplest algorithm for using the TDM is allocating time slots for channels in a fixed pattern. This results in a fixed bandwidth and it is a typical solution for wireless phone systems. MAC, that is medium access control, is quite simple, as the only crucial factor is accessing the reserved time slot at the right moment. If this synchronization is assured, each mobile station turns its turn and no interface will happen. The fixed pattern can be assigned by the base station, where the competition between the different mobile stations that want to access in the medium is solved. So, this is a diagram for the fixed TDM. We have uplink and downlink and we are split it into slots. The above figure shows how these fixed TDM patterns are used to implement the multiple access and the duplex channel between a base station and the mobile station. Assigning the different slots for the uplink and the downlink using the same frequency is called the time division duplex. As shown in the figure, the base station uses 1 out of the 12 slots for the downlink, whereas the mobile station uses 1 out of 12 different slots for the uplink. Uplink and downlink are separated in time. Up to 12 different mobile stations can use the same frequency without the interference using this scheme. Each connection is allotted its own uplink and downlink pair. So, this general scheme wastes a lot of bandwidth. So, it is too static, too inflexible for data communication. In this connection oriented or connection less demand oriented TDMA schemes can be used. Now, let us see about classical Aloha. In this scheme, the TDM is applied without controlling medium access. Here, each station can access the medium at any time as shown below. So, this is a random access scheme without a central arbiter controlling access and without coordination among the stations. If 2 or more stations access the medium at the same time, a collision occurs and the transmitted data is destroyed. So, resolving this problem is left to the higher layers, that is, example, retransmission of data. So, the simple Aloha works fine for the light load and does not require any complicated access mechanism. So, this is Aloha. Sender A and sender B, sender C sends the data like this, and there will be collisions if they try to access the same channel. Then slotted Aloha. The first refinement of the classical Aloha scheme is provided by the introduction of time slots, that you call it as slotted Aloha, since it is slotted into on the basis of time. So, it is called as slotted Aloha. In this case, all the senders have to be synchronized. Transmission can only start at the beginning of the time slot as shown below. If the station misses the time slot, the station must wait until the beginning of the next time slot. Okay. So, that is slotted Aloha. It is splitted according to the base of that time. So, that is slotted Aloha. Then let us see about the carrier sense multiple access, CSMA. The CSMA was developed to minimize the chance of collision and therefore increase the performance. CSMA is based on the principle sense before transmit or listen before you talk. Here, each station checks the state of the medium, whether it is idle or busy. If the medium is idle, the station sends the data. So, this is a diagram, flow diagram for 3 persistent methods. So, first one is one persistent, second one non-persistent, and third one is p-persistent. So, in the case of one persistent, before sending a frame, a station senses the line, that is the first figure, this one, the first figure. If the line is idle, the station sends immediately with the probability 1. If the line is busy, the station continues sending the line. This method is the highest chance of collision because two or more stations may find the line idle and sense the frame immediately. In the case of non-persistent, that is the second diagram. Before sending a frame, a station senses the line. If the line is idle, the station sends immediately. If the line is busy, the station waits for a random amount of time and then senses the line again. This method reduces the chance of collision because two or more stations will not wait for the same amount of time and will not retry to send simultaneously. Then P persistent, that is the third diagram here. This method is used if the channel has time slots with a slot duration equal to or greater than the maximum propagation time. So it has some advantages. It combines the advantages of the other two methods. It reduces the chance of collision and improves efficiency. After the station finds the line idle, it follows all these steps. That is, with the probability P, the station sends the frame. With the probability Q is equal to 1 minus P, the station waits for the beginning of the next time slot and checks the line again. If the line is idle, it goes to the step 1. If the line is busy, it assumes that the collision has occurred and uses the back-off procedure. Then let us move to the reservation algorithms, that is DAMA, demand assigned multiple access, and another one is PRMA, that is packet reservation multiple access. In this case, DAMA, channel efficiency is allotted as 18% for Aloha and 36% for slotted Aloha, assuming the Poisson distribution for the packet arrival and packet length. So the reservation can be increase in efficiency to 80% if a sender reserves a future time slot. Sending within this reserved time slot is possible without collision. Reservation also causes a higher delays, typical scheme for satellite links. So examples for this reservation algorithm is the explicit reservation according to Roberts, reservation Aloha, DAMA, implicit reservation PRMA, reservation TDMA. Then PRMA, that is packet reservation multiple access. The implicit reservation scheme is packet reservation multiple access. A certain number of slots forms a frame. The frame is repeated in time, that is forming the frames 1 to 5 in the example. A base station could be a satellite now that broadcasts the status of each slot to a mobile station. All the stations receiving this vector will know which slot is occupied and which slot is currently free. So this is the example given here and it is splitted into 5 frames. All these frames request the time slots till 1 to 8 and these frames will occupy the idle slots. Then now let us see about reservation TDMA. So in a fixed TDM scheme, n mini slots followed by n into k data slots form a frame that is repeated. Each slot is allotted its own mini slot and can use it to reserve up to k data slots. So this is a diagram given for that. It is assigned as n mini slots and n into k data slots. This guarantees each station a certain bandwidth and a fixed delay, and other stations can now send the data in the unused data slots as shown. So using these free slots can be based on the simple round robin scheme or can be uncoordinated using a Aloha scheme. So this scheme allows for the combination of example the isochronous traffic with fixed bit rates and best effort traffic without any guarantees. Now let us see about CDMA, that is code division multiple access. The code division multiple access systems apply the codes with certain characteristics to the transmission to separate different users in code space and to enable the access to a shared medium without interference. All terminals send on the same frequency probably at the same time and can use the whole bandwidth of the transmission channel. Each sender has a unique random number. The sender exhausts the signal with the random number. So the receiver can tune its signal if it knows the pseudo random number. Tuning is done via a correlation function. So the disadvantages here is higher complexity of a receiver. That is, the receiver cannot just listen into the medium and start receiving if there is a signal. All the signals should have the same strength at the receiver. Advantages are all the terminals can use the same frequency, no planning is needed, and the huge code space compared to the frequency space. Interferences is not coded. Forward error correction and encryption can be easily integrated. So, this is an example given here. So, consider the sender A and sender B. A sends the data AD, that is equal to 1, with the key AK is equal to 0 1 0 0 1 1. So, assign 0 is equal to minus 1 and 1 is equal to plus 1. Okay. So, the sending signal of A, that is AS, is equal to AD into AK, that is A data into A's key, that is equal to. So, we are substituting the minus 1 for 0. So, minus 1 plus 1 minus 1 minus 1 plus 1 plus 1, and sender B, it sends the data as 0, key as BK, that is equal to 1 1 0 1 0 1, and as usual assigning 0 is equal to minus 1 and 1 is equal to plus 1. So, the sending signal BS is equal to BD into BK, that is equal to minus 1 plus 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1. So, both the signals superimpose in the space. So, the interference is neglected and the noises are also neglected. So, the AS plus BS is equal to both the things we are adding. So, minus 1 plus minus 1 we get minus 2, plus 1 minus 1 we get 0, minus 1 plus 1 we get 0, minus 1 we get minus 2, plus 1 we get plus 2, plus 1 minus 1 we get 0. So, the receiver wants to receive the signal from the sender A. So, applying the AK bitwise, that is the inner product, that is AE is equal to that minus 2 0 0 minus 2 plus 2 0 into AK. So, AK is the value we obtained that, and when we are finding the product of these values, minus 2 into minus 1 we get 2, and 0 into plus 1 we get 0, plus 0 into minus 1 we get 0, then minus 2 into minus 1 we get plus 2, plus 2 into plus 1 we get plus 2, and 0 into plus 1 we get 0. So, adding everything we get a value as 6. The result is greater than 0, therefore, the original bit was 1. The receiving end, that is at the receiving end B, BE is equal to similarly minus 2 0 0 minus 2 plus 2 0 into BK, that is key value K is multiplied with of sender B is multiplied with this. So, we get the answer as minus 2 plus 0 minus 2 plus 0. So, we get the answer as minus 6, that is the value is 0, transport value is 0. So, that is given in the figure here. Okay. The following shows the sender A which wants to transmit the bit 101, that is the data value. The key of A is shown as signal and the binary sequence is AK. The binary 0 is assigned a positive signal value and the binary 1 is assigned a negative signal value. After spreading, that is XORing AD and AK, the resulting value is AS, that is given in this diagram. Thank you.